and it seemed to be doing that.
Did the news help it a little bit or no?
I didn't even, I knew the news was, the important news was apparently going to be at 10 o'clock, I think.
Yes, that was, yes, 10 o'clock this morning, yeah.
And I don't think it really
right
did.
now, actually, is it?
Well, yes, it did. It did spike it up and down.
Okay. And today is Mr. Trump is supposed to be speaking at 3 p.m. So.
Oh, good.
Interesting. We'll see if that has any effect.
I'll be out of anything before that.
All right. A quick look at the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar versus the Euro U.S. dollar. U.S. dollar is a little bit weak today. A little on the weak side. The Euro U.S. dollar is strong. So for those who play the Forex market, since we have a weak U.S. dollar, again, I'll go over them. Aussie U.S. dollar would be strong. Euro U.S. dollar would be strong. Yeah, you can see Aussie is much stronger than the Euro. GBP would be strong. It hasn't really been that strong compared to Aussie again. New Zealand U.S. dollar would be strong. So New Zealand and Aussie are very strong currencies against the U.S. dollar right now. So USD CAD would be weak, and it is. USD Swiss would be weak. It's not as weak. And USD JPY would be weak, and it's a bit weak. So you can play those instruments based on what the U.S. dollar is doing. So it's quite interesting. Oil, strong overall, and also bucking the trend. Gold, this is silver. Silver has had quite a tear, and then now it went sideways for a while, dropped back down. So looking for another push here now. So you can really see that the structure here is beautiful. They chopped it up and down, and now we're looking for them to continue pushing silver to the upside here. There could be another possible drop here before they do, but even in any case, we'd still be looking for them to go back up. So that will probably be similar to gold. Let's just see how they look. Yeah, essentially the same. So we're looking for gold to push up one more time. All right, and that's a look at all those guys. Tesla, strong today based on strong indices. Let's go down to 15-minute. So yeah, very strong. Nice push. Looking to take out these highs over here. So it looks pretty good here for Tesla for the remainder of the day. We should continue pushing up. S&P, very strong as well. So we just broke the highs at this point. So I'm going to go look at S&P from the daily standpoint. And we came all the way down. I'm going to go to the weekly because I can't see to the left. I want to see to the left. So looking at the overall structure here on S&P, we came similar to what silver and gold just did. That kind of move. So the expectation would be that we're heading back up to continue our march to the upside. In the event that this is wrong, then we would go halfway up, something like that, and can collapse again, but we don't really want to see that. It's a possibility, of course, but we would rather see the former move continuing that way. All right. So we're looking pretty good, though. We're getting a bounce at this point. So are we done? Is this the bottom? It looks pretty good for a bottom. We would like to see that continue pushing up. But I noticed that the difference with NASDAQ is quite pronounced at this point here. You can see how the NASDAQ is much flatter. So this is a little concerning in that we could be just in a fourth wave. And we might go up a little bit, but we could collapse one more time, which is not so great. but it is a possibility. So the S&P is a little different. You can see it's kind of similar, but a little different in that we had divergence at these points here. We were going that way, whereas the NAS, if I put the NAS back on, is diverting this way. So a little concerning that it is possible that we could, like I say, come up here and then drop back one more time to take out all these lows, but let's hope that doesn't occur. But it's a rather flat, so though I don't like that being so flat like that. All right, and we'll look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also hit the bottom here. This is off the 4-hour time frame, and we made quite a large push to the upside there. Let me get rid of all this stuff. So that looks pretty good for Bitcoin. You know, this move and then this big push. We're breaking above the highs now, so it looks like we should continue pushing, especially if we can close above, which it looks like we did close above. Yes, we did. So yeah, looks like we should continue pushing back to the upside here. So that's boding well for Bitcoin. That would mean that NAS and S&P should do similar, continue pushing up, at least in the short term anyways. I'm just going to go to the daily and look at Bitcoin. So again, I'm a little concerned with Bitcoin, for one thing as well. This low, it is possible for them to, even though they're going to push up a little bit here, they could come, say, into this gap and retrace it one more time. That is a possibility. So I do have a huge 1, 2, 3 here, another 1, 2, 3 here. So that is a definite possibility that we can come back one more time. So that's why I'm a little bit leery about NAS, because this is a possibility. So in that case, that would mean that Tesla, for instance, might do something similar. Where'd my Tesla go? In that we could drop back one more time to take out this low. So that's a possibility as well. So at this point here, I've got a 1, 2. So we could certainly come back down one more time.
But on the 1 minute, we're moving up quite nicely.
Yes, in the shorter term, yeah, because we're short-term players. Yeah, this looks good. So S&P looking good. So I just exited some trades in my other account on the NAS on this leg here. Just caught this move here from 9:30 my time, right, and rolled it right up to the top, and that was quite nice. You remember yesterday I was in the NAS right at the end of just at the close of near the close of the day there. I was in that last move on the NAS, so I took a screenshot. So I'd gotten in this area here and was writing it up to the targets here. There's a previous high over on that side. So price was just sitting right there when I took a screenshot, because I was expecting it to go right through to take that profit. And it did go, of course, go through. But that was yesterday's session. We were looking for that retrace and then an entry down here to come all the way back up. And it did. And it did do it just as scripted. So it was really nice. Nice setup, nice move. And it just continued going up all for the rest of the day. So that was quite nice. All right, so that's where we're sitting. This is it. So let's see if we look at both of these at the same time. We're getting some divergence up here. So you see how they do it? They make the divergences here. So we have huge divergence right here, quite pronounced. But we have a clean 1, 2, 3 here. So it looks like we're coming back down to retrace this entire move, right? So it could be a sell from up here to back down at this point. But quite the divergence here. The difference is quite pronounced at the top. So with the S&P, if we're looking at the structure, we get this drop and then that move. So that's the sweep. And then we get the drop. So we're looking for them to sweep this low and something like that, come back in and then drop it back down. And on the NAS, if I keep those lines on the NAS, it's completely different. So they did not sweep that level. Interesting. So what happens there is that this move here, this point here, is already broken but not closed below, interestingly. And so we still would look for that kind of movement here to come back. It's quite the difference right here. It did not take out the high. And they had divergence at the bottom as well, it looks like. Let me just go back to at the S&P. Yes, they did. So they really trick everyone with the divergences in this.
Yeah, divergence was rather tricky yesterday.
Yes.
It appeared on some of my charts, and it didn't work out the first time, but it worked out the second time, type of thing.
Yeah, it's a good little manipulation that they do to trick the traders here, because anytime we see a 1, 2, 3, we're expecting another drop. So I could be sitting here all day waiting for this drop, and we never get it. So the S&P did not do that. So if I go back to the NAS did do it. So the NAS did do what I'm expecting. I put that back. You see, I'm expecting them to break that low at this side here. I'm expecting them to break this low to give me my structure. I need them to break that low. And on the S&P, they didn't do it, but on the NAS, they did do it, albeit not by much, but they still did it. So the NASDAQ was telling the truth where the S&P was lying. And so this is telling us that the NAS was slightly weaker at this point, but given us the right move here. So the S&P is just doing the 1, 2, 3 right away without going down below. So much stronger on the S&P right at that moment in time. So on the S&P, I would have been, if I was just looking at the S&P, I would have been saying, okay, I'm looking for them to break that low. So I'm waiting for that to happen, and it doesn't happen. So if you're not paying attention to the NAS, then you would be sitting here waiting for that to happen, and this would take off without you. So it's quite interesting how they manipulate that. And we've seen this happen so many times. So for those of us out there in YouTube world who are new to this channel and or repeated guests, if you're finding any of this information that we're sharing here, we're trading our 1, 2, 3 system live on the 1-minute charts, bar by bar, play by play. This is all for educational purposes, of course. Not recommending any trades, even though we do go into trades and so forth. And if you do find this at all valuable, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that. All right, so we're looking for that. So they did come down on the, this is the S&P. We've come down below the lows. They didn't close below the lows though. And we're coming back into a gap. So this is a sell opportunity on the S&P to come down.
We have a 1, 2, 3 bottom on the Tesla 1 minute.
Have to be careful because we've gone up. So there's Tesla doing the same thing as the NAS. They just swept that low, and then we get this strong move up. So this is a sweep here. So we might not break this high again.
No, I don't know if we'll break the high, but it looks like there's a few more bars to go up.
We might be coming back down. Let's see how NAS looks here.
I ended my week with an even 1,000 handles. On,
That's pretty good, George.
9 days of trading.
So you see how the NAS is looking not to take this high. It's possible that we could be coming back down. But I do have a gap here. We just went above it a little bit. So we'll be coming back down. S&P is very similar. We have a gap there on the S&P as well. So Tesla might be doing a similar thing. So it looks a little different on Tesla, but will they take that high? You see how the 5 minute looks. 5 minutes is saying yes, they might push through and take that high. But we could certainly take that high over here. It looks like it wants to go through. So it's bucking the trend a little bit there on Tesla. So we've got a high over here. So looking like it is possible for them to take that high. So usually we get a sweep like this. We would be looking to not take this high again, but now they have actually. So they're looking to take the high over here. So yeah, I wouldn't call this a 1, 2, 3 bottom, even though technically it is a 1, 2, 3, Peter, because again, we are starting from the low here. So this is where your 1, 2, 3 bottom is. So when you're up here, you're not looking at it as a 1, 2, 3 bottom anymore. It's more likely you're looking for a 1, 2, 3 top to come back down rather than 1, 2, 3 bottom to continue going up.
Right.
So in our structure, yes, we can have we'll have 1, 2, 3s here, 1, 2, 3 bottom there, 1, 2, 3 bottom there, but that's about it. Everywhere else would be 1, 2, 3 tops, 1, 2, 3 tops, 1, 2, 3 tops, that type of thing. 1, 2, 3 bottom here. So whenever you're up high, it's more tops. So you can see what they did here. They just swept that high by a little bit, and now they're coming back down. So if we break this low, then we'd be looking for that move to come back down to retrace the entire move. So looking for a breach of this low. That'll give us a change of character. And we have an inverted gap right here. I reached out to Martin there to find out how his surgery went, but I haven't heard back from him.
What surgery?
He was having surgery to fix some snoring issues. So I guess nasal, something like that. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but
Isn't he some kind of doctor?
he is, but doctors can't operate on themselves.
No, what kind of doctor is he?
He's a facial reconstructive surgeon.
Wow. Can you imagine doing that all day long?
No, it's hard enough trading.
Whoops, I made a mistake.
We're sorry.
You can make mistakes trading, but anything else in life, you can't make mistakes.
And this is looking like they might not pull down very much here. It's possible that they're just kind of fooling everybody to go short, and they might be heading back to the upside. It's a possibility.
Oh,
Very tricky.
I'm hanging tough with my long trade.
Yeah, it could be a trick here, but we could drop down. There is a large gap here on the 5-minute that we could come back into first. That's why I was thinking that they might do that, but yeah, it's a bit tricky here because it's very choppy. You can see this inverted gap is kind of holding. It did close above it a little bit there, but they haven't closed. You see they haven't closed below this low. They just wicked it. So this is a weak high here. So we could certainly, go back and go up and go through it and go through this one and this one. So it's a little tricky here right now, and probably best not to make a trade at this point.
Yeah, on Tesla, we've broken below the lower Tom DeMark trend line, but as you say, I don't expect it to really go down that far.
No, we
That's
do have
a 5-minute I'm looking at, by the way.
We do have a clean 1, 2, 3, and they're coming for this low. So if we can close below that's low,
yeah,
then I would then look for a sell. Certainly.
It's not doing it very dynamically though right now. Well, I'm on a 5-minute chart. Let me go down 1 minute, see what it's looking like. 1 minute hasn't broken below the most recent Tom DeMark trend line.
They're just hanging around right on the abyss here. But we still haven't closed below it yet. No, S&P is just about to do that now, maybe. So it's looking like they want to come down, but it's still a bit testy.
Doesn't it look like it's in a wave 4 though, and it might end up going higher?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that it does look that way. That it could be just a choppy, but I'm trying to see the entire structure here. So from this low, if we look at the entire structure on S&P, we've got a 1, 2, and yeah, this certainly could all be just a fourth wave here, and we just come down and continue going. It's definitely a possibility, right? It's a little different on the NAS because of that bottom part here, but relatively similar. So we could be in a fourth wave. That's why I'm saying we could come down just a little bit into this gap and then bounce back. So that's why I don't really want to sell it here, because it's not that far down.
Yeah, right. I agree.
So we got our first closure below. So now, since I have a closure, I'd move my gap marker here to this gap. It's a very, very tiny gap. So if we came back up and touched that gap, that's a possible sell. to down here. But again, it's not that far. It's not that really a great trade per se. I mean, they could come down lower, of course. So they came within a tick of touching that gap. Look how close they came right there. So that might have been it. They're very quick. So we could get that drop.
I get in these kind of situations, it's usually better for me to sit on my hands.
Yeah, it's playing out as I'm expecting here, but they did this retrace very quickly, so you don't have. By the time I do sell, move this out of the way to see what I'm doing, it's too late.
Yeah. Tesla is also moving down kind of rapidly right now. And it just knocked out anybody that had stops around 247.60 area.
Yeah, so they were very sneaky on Tesla. They swept the high and they drop it down quickly into 1, 2, 3 here, and then another 1, 2, 3, and then down we go. So they didn't even come back to the inverted gap. There's a little gap right there that they came back to at that point. So the inverted gap was not in play. So this little gap here, they came back into it. So that's the sell at that point on Tesla to come back down. So that's what I expected at that point because of them sweeping that high, coming back down. Same thing on the S&P. But again, they might not come down too far. So we're right in the middle of the gap now. This is the 5-minute gap that I'm looking at. So that could be, we could get a turnaround, but you want to see 5 waves in any case. So we could get 1, 2, 3, 4, one more drop, take out these lows. So this is where you have to watch for divergence because they can mess you up. So one of these might come back down to take out the low and the other one might not.
Yeah, on Tesla, we kind of have equal tops on the current 2 tops.
Morning. Morning, how are you?
Oh, back into.
Tesla's still trying to go lower on the 5-minute chart, but it's still in a struggling situation. The time to mark target is 247.30, which shouldn't be a problem, but it hasn't gotten there yet. There's an interesting thing that's going on in the fundamentals in the United States, Lennox. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, how they measure inflation is based upon formulas that they've put together over quite a few years. I guess, 30 or 40 years. A new group has put together their algorithm for inflation that is using AI, and they are using actual data points across the entire country. And they have literally, I think it ends up as 1 million data points or something, like some huge number of data points they use. And they've been getting the inflation number, and it should be a lot lower than the government has been getting. And they have been correct now for a couple of months of showing what actual inflation is. So it's going to be interesting going forward. And also, I think it's interesting that they're beginning to use AI to quantify some of the statistics that they have been doing, for 50 years or more, well before the computers were used to do the data massaging. Tesla just went up. It never hit the mark line, but it came up to the top line, which is resistance.
Looking for another drop here on the indices. Looking for them to take out this low. So one more drop. That would complete our structure. Don't want to be jumping in on that at this moment. Let's see how Tesla looks. Tesla is similar, so we will be expecting another drop here on Tesla as well. Because we have a 1, 2, 3 top, so we would expect that drop.
Tesla in the 1 minute broke above a resistance line. I mean,
Here we come.
But it's coming back down now.
So the NAS is almost taking out that low. We might get divergence, but it doesn't look so. It looks like they're both going to do it. Perhaps. So this is where they can subtly make divergence. So the expectation is for them to take this low. So they did on NAS. S&P is still hanging there. It looks like they're going to go through. And then Tesla should do the same.
Yeah, NASDAQ is just, it's pip, 1 or 2 handles away from the going below the 200 SMA moving average on the 1 minute chart.
All this, look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is doing the same thing as well. So they might not break that low here, but you would expect them to break that low. So this is a difference. You can get divergence even on the stocks here. So we've got the beautiful structure. We would expect them to take that low, but they might not. So on Tesla, they're not breaking that low either. But on the S&P and the NASDAQ, we have. So quite interesting there. All right, so this looks like a buy opportunity on NAS at this point now, so I'd buy it there.
That's what it's looking like. I haven't gotten confirmation yet, but it certainly, well, it looks like it wants to build a fractal right now. Volatility isn't too bad right now either. Yeah, that's looking like a good move.
Where is my order? Here it is.
Didn't take your order?
No, it's in. It's just taking a while to register. So we're getting a nice move. So they stayed right inside the gap. So the gap is right there. And they stayed inside the gap. There's the middle point of the gap. Don't like that pullback. That's quite a pullback there. Let's see the difference with S&P here. So oh, that's interesting. So S&P, they came back down and took the low. So there's a little bit of divergence there on the S&P in comparison to the NAS at that point. So they came all the way back down to the low. Wasn't expecting that at all from there. Okay, and let's see what Tesla did. Tesla has taken the low. NVIDIA has taken the low as well. Nope, not yet. NVIDIA is still hanging in there. Let's see if we can push back to the upside here. So they did come outside of the gap now, and there's another gap below.
It touched me, but it wouldn't take me. It took me.
Very tiny gap there, and they've gone below that gap as well. Wow. Okay, so you put me in a little bit of drawdown here. Very close to the order block. So I was tempted to buy some more, but I think I'll just leave it at that. So Tesla is certainly probably a buy now. Bitcoin is also a buy now.
Well, I moved my stop to break even.
You're going to be going back up to take out all these sellers. This time I get up here, I'll take a portion off because I should have taken some off here. I had nice profits. I wasn't expecting them to come back down that much. We had a 1, 2, another 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth leg. So they came down one more time below. So we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here that you can't really see.
They're just trying to go positive at this time, so we should get another push up. Because I have a check mark at this point in time. That's being threatened. It's trying to turn itself around, but It's struggling so far. I got my full tick, but it could turn around and disappear on the next candle.
So we have a little gap here. So this should hold as support here. So essentially we have a sweep, and we need a move up to take out this high. And we could get a retrace to continue. So
This is still struggling.
yeah, we're in a fourth wave area.
And it looks like it wants to take me out.
So they've gone right through that gap. So hopefully it's just a wick. Close. I'm gonna come back to the order block. So I'm gonna buy some more here. See S&P. So we're right into a gap on the S&P. Need this to turn around now. Tesla's slowly turning around. We've got a nice 1, 2, 3, looking pretty good there for Tesla. Just want to see the indices turn around here now.
It's having a hard time trying to figure out what it wants to do.
See how the 5 minute looks. Yeah, we come back into this big, huge order block here.
Down at this point.
We're inside a 5 minute gap. So the 5 minute gap is holding price in. So the only other possibility here is that they could come and take this low, which I don't really want to see them do that at this point, but I'm looking for them to continue here. But it's possible that they're hanging in here because they're not moving up, and we could come down to take this low, which would put me in a huge drawdown. So I might want to put a stop in just in case, but I haven't put a stop in. So if I were going to put a stop in, it would be below this right here. Just in case they decide that they're not going to go back up at this point. Notice Bitcoin came back down to take its low. So Bitcoin did a little sweep of its low again right there. So we did sweep already once. They moved up nicely, went through, came back. It looked like this would have been good for them to bounce off here, but they came back and took the low one more time. So it's a possibility that they might do that on the NAS.
Well, it took me out. I ended up with 7 handles.
Yeah, they're going down quite a bit here, so I'm not liking that.
Yeah. I'm trying to go and get some sleep before my class begins.
Get some what?
Sleep before my class begins.
So I put my stop right on the tail of this lower candle, so they have to come all the way down to get me. Otherwise, we bounce back to the upside here. So S&P, okay, we're getting divergence. S&P has taken out that low. NASDAQ has not. Interesting. So NASDAQ is stronger, so that's good. So it's giving me this is where they fool us with the divergence. See how they manipulate it. So we have divergence on NAS and S&P at that point. So the NAS is much stronger and looking like, yes, we should be able to get out of there. The S&P had to take out the low first. Hopefully that divergence holds and pushes us up. So we have very sneaky little guys there. They're good. They are good. You see I can't show the divergence because of, you can see the divergence quite clearly. That's here's the S&P. So we've got that divergence that way. NASDAQ diverting this way. Oops. All right, so let's hope that this holds and continues pushing to the upside now. So we're getting a 1, 2, 3. So let's see if we can get out of there. And we're coming into macro time at 10 minutes to the hour. So I could still be in jeopardy, of course, because they might decide to come and take that low.
It's
unfortunately,
it's a riskier play right now, that's for sure.
So they swept this low again. They swept this low right there. That's interesting. Let's see S&P. S&P has swept the low again.
Yeah, I brought my limit down to let it take itself out before it hit the break-even point.
Looks like they want to take me out. Technically, I should have my stop below the low. So I don't think it's going to make much difference if I move it below the low or not, but nope, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have got me anyway. So they were going to take that low, unfortunately. So a very sneaky little play there. All right. And so by a tick, they go down and take that low. S&P, they've taken it by quite a bit. So I am going to fight them on this one. I'm going back in. I'm going back in on this fractal.
I actually ended up with 7 handles on that one.
All right, well, I want a bit more than 7 handles. I like to go for about, let's see, we're at 620.
Yeah, well, at one point I have
About 75 handles.
I have not that many. I have about 30, but I was too piggy waiting for the next higher one.
Okay, so yeah, they're very tricky here. So we had divergence. It looked pretty good. You take me out by a couple ticks there. Let's see if we can get back above this high here. The gap is irrelevant now.
Hey, it's trying to turn around now.
Tesla. So Tesla made a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom. So we got the sweep on Tesla. They made a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom. Did not come back and take that low. Now they're moving out quite nicely. So that's what you would expect. S&P still struggling a little bit there. NAS getting up there. So I want to see them take this high. Get ready to take a little something off this time.
My limit was too low. I didn't get in unless it falls back.
Oh, very tentative. Should be pushing a little bit stronger here. So we're right into the macro now. The macro is going. We should be going. We've got a gap right here. And looking for this gap to hold price up. My TP, can't do a TP at this point. TP would be up at the top.
This is slow. VIX is 22.5. Okay, I can move my stop to break even now.
Oh, had a nice push there. One more time. Come on. Here we go. A little bit more. Okay, I'll take a partial there. And move my stop right underneath. Okay, there's the move I was looking for. So now we've broken that high, but I'd like to see them close above the high. We've also got an inverted gap on this side.
Getting a nice push now.
Yeah. So when they're looking for a retrace, will they give us one now? So if we can close above, that would be great. And we've got okay, we did, so that's beautiful. So now a retrace just to come back and touch this inverted gap from this side would be just perfect. They might just come to the order block too and take off. So any retrace here would be really good.
No, it should continue up in the next couple of candles. We're into macro right now.
Yes. Looking for a retrace. Will they come back to the...
Might have it at this point.
50% of this move would take us back to...
I don't think you're going to get that.
Would take us back to the gap. the inverted gap. Well, whether or not they retrace doesn't matter, but I'd like to see them retrace because I'd like to add some more positions. But if they don't retrace, that's fine as well because I'm in the position, so it's all good either way.
Well, it's listening.
Okay, so they're coming back to the order block. Let's see if we can go through a little bit more. We should go down a little bit more into this gap. Buy some more. So you could set a limit order if you have the time to do it, but I don't bother doing the limit order because it takes too long to set it up. So let's see if we can drop back into this inverted gap. There we go. So I'll buy some more at this point now. So they come back and touch the regular gap. Actually, it was so.
Boy, it almost took me out. Let's see if it's going to do it.
Yeah, you can't have your stop too tight in there because they'll take.
Well, I brought I got a piece off already, so I brought my stop to break even +1.
Look at the move on Tesla. That's so beautiful. So that would have been a great buy on Tesla. I don't know if you caught that, Peter.
I'm sorry?
I don't know if you caught that move on Tesla there.
Oh, I've been in and out of Tesla all morning. I can't remember which one you're talking about.
Just the current drop here that we were looking at. So they dropped down.
Yeah, I shorted it and then I went long.
Yeah, that's excellent. So that's a beautiful move right there on. So Peter is using the DeMark lines. So let's just see how the DeMark lines did at this point here. So we had one there and one here. And there's an even tighter one right here. Looks like or not. No, that was it. So that would have been the entry for using the DeMark lines at this point. You could have entered on a breach of a close right there to catch that move. But it's always better on the retrace. I like personally to catch it on the retrace. But nice move there on Tesla. So that's a quick 247 to 4, couple points there. Well, they've come back quite a way, so it looks like I might be stopping that, getting stopped up. Nope, I'm still okay. So that's S&P's come down quite a bit compared to NAS.
Yeah, it's trying to go back negative again.
So we're right back into that gap. So it's a good spot to be buying in there right now. That's what we're looking for. So this is the setup that we want to see. We get the sweep, we get the move. Sorry, wrong one, wrong place. We get the sweep here. We get the move up, the sweep here, retrace back in, and now this is a great buying opportunity to take us out. So they're looking to take me out right now because I've got my stop a bit too tight maybe. Came up a little bit with my stop. I could drop it back down a tad. I don't really want to move it, but now that they're coming so close, I could drop it back a little bit. Let's just put it right below the, yeah, it doesn't, I don't think I made it.
They dropped it down quite.
Yeah, I missed getting that movement. It was too fast. So would it have mattered if I had moved it? Nope, it wouldn't have mattered. So don't like to move the stop really, but so they came back quite a bit away down. So they might just,
that's quite a move back.
Yeah, so they might just wick. No, they closed below it. Interesting. So they closed back into the order block. All right, so got a little bit of profit out of that, but let's see if I can get back in again. So inverted, it didn't work. This guy didn't work. So they came back to the order block and are leaving from the order block now. So the setup still holds. It's just on an unfortunate stop out. So sometimes what I do, and this is a nice little tidbit here, the tail of this candle right here, the lowest bar, you can use the halfway point. So the halfway point of that is right there of the wick, of the tail of the candle, the tail, the halfway point. You can use that as your stop. So putting your stop below halfway, and you see in that case, that would have been safe. So yeah, I was trying to drag it down, but I couldn't do it in time, unfortunately, so I missed it. Okay, so I have to get back in again. All right, so I can wait now for a retrace again. So looking for them to take out this high and then retrace back in.
It should take out the previous high before it starts retracing, though.
Just a near-term high right here, not the high.
No, that near term one I'm talking about.
Yeah. So let's see if we get another retrace. So this is an unfortunate stop out, and that was, yeah, I wasn't even paying
Yeah, I
attention
know what you mean.
to that. I didn't think that they would come back that far because we had that gap here, but they came and used the order block instead.
I think they missed me by 25 cents.
Let me take a look at this from the 5-minute standpoint. Okay, so on the 5-minute, it's kind of interesting on the 5-minute. It still looks a bit daunting, you know. It's a bit scary looking. It's like they could drop it through to take out this low is a possibility, you know. So we got a 1-2 here, so this could just be a chop and they drop it down. So I'm a bit leery that they might do that still. So maybe we're going the wrong way here. That's totally possible. You can see how they're really chopping it up, eh?
Yeah, I'm going to
chopping it.
Good opportunity to take me out.
So we could go down.
Playing this game. And as soon as they take me out, they'll then go and do what they want to do.
I'm skeptical of this move. There's too much choppiness here for my liking. Let's see how Tesla is doing. So Tesla has made quite the move. They're looking to take the high. Let's see the 5-minute.
Yeah.
Tesla looks a lot better. It looks like they want to go.
There we go. Okay, I got out. Whether it's going to go up higher or not, I'll have to wait till I reevaluate.
Recalculating. Yeah, so Tesla's taking the high. But will they take this high? So a lot of liquidity above these guys here, so they should take them, even if they're gonna just go through and then come back, because it is a very choppy area here as well. So they could do that and come back down, take these guys out. That's a possibility. So overall, our structure looks triangle type of affair. Interesting. S&P. Okay, S&P's made a nice bold move there. So is the NAS. So is this just a chop at this point? Is this just a big chop? We've got a huge 1-2 here. Oops, got the wrong one. Huge 1-2 there. And then this drop, and then they're chopping it. So we could see them coming back down here. So all of a sudden I don't like this anymore because of that. So yeah, they can take this high, but they might not take this high. or they'll even take that high and then turn it around and come back. So let's see what they do here. Let's see if this high is taken.
Yeah.
So if I was able to stay in that trade, I would be okay right now, getting some nice profit on that. But the S&P looks, so they're looking to take that high. So here's the high on the S&P.
Yeah, as I said, you know, if I move my limit down, that they would take me out and move higher. That's all right. I got another. I got another. I'm up to 229 handles. This is the one that should continue up some more.
Well, Bitcoin made a nice move, and I was so concentrated on NAS, I didn't get a chance to jump in on that. But it had the same sweep and the 1-2. So that's a nice entry, a second entry, second chance at it there. So these are really nice setups. So the sweep, the move up, retrace back in. So that's an entry, and then they go up again, sweep it, retrace back into the gap. That's another entry. This is a better setup because we have the gap on this side. We don't have a gap, just the order block. But
Well,
that's
how much they pulled that thing down now.
really nice setup there. So if you're nimble, you can catch these, but yeah, so that's what I'm kind of suspecting. That's what they might be doing. Right? They're not closing above that, so we could it's just a sweep. So we could, like I say, come back down and take out all these lows because they're suspect, and we're just in a fourth wave here. So that is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, it kind of looks like they're playing some games. So
S&P's a little different.
Just sit this one out right now.
Tesla did take the high, and so Tesla's got lots of strength there to that upside, but they might be done now as well. So we've got our structure. Very nice, a very nice move on Tesla, but we could see a pullback now, maybe even back down to this gap area. Okay, so we're into the macro, but not much of a macro going on here. We're 9 minutes in and we haven't had a gap as yet. No gaps whatsoever. Interestingly, Bitcoin looks quite strong, and the NAS and the S&P are struggling a little bit right now, so quite interesting. And Tesla, like I say, could be turning back down, perhaps. So this is a tempting sell here at this point because I'm getting a nice 1, 2, 3 top, and we could come back down to take out these lows. So it's a little tempting sell here, but
I don't know about that one.
I'm a little guarded on that one. It's a tough call because I see Bitcoin going straight up, and so it's a bit disconcerting that Bitcoin is getting such a push. And these guys are all turning to the downside. So that's very odd behavior there. But it does look good that we could come back down. So,
But I see what you're saying. I'm getting a lot of spinning tops and dojis at this point.
can we take this low?
I've got possible turnaround looking at the 3-minute.
Okay, Bitcoin just made a complete turn. So Bitcoin just made a complete turn without taking out that high. Now they could still go and take that high, but that's quite the turn all of a sudden on Bitcoin. So we need to take this low on Bitcoin here. Yep, they've taken that low. So yeah, they look like they want to come down. Still haven't had a gap yet. It's amazing. So if we close below this, then we will have our structure.
That
set
gap
nicely.
is very, very small at this point.
Another sweep. 1, 2, drop. Look.
This candle should close low, which would mean we are going to have a small gap above it. And you've got 2 seconds to
Oh,
go.
we closed below it, so there we go. All right, so if we push back up into the order block, that's a sell.
That order block isn't very big, unless you use 3 of them.
Yeah. So we need to come back just above the high of this previous candle. They came very close to it, so that might have been it. That's all they're going to give me. Oh my.
Yep, there we go.
They take off. That's hilarious. So they wouldn't even come back up a little bit more. So they're very weak here. So it looks like I might be correct, and they are going to go and take out those lows. So they're very sneaky, but yeah, sometimes you can tell what they're doing. And yeah, my hesitation here to not go in was not good. I should have jumped in at that point.
Yeah, it looks like this 3-minute chart of mine was telling me the truth.
Okay, I'm looking for a retrace on Bitcoin currently now to see maybe Bitcoin will give me the retrace I'm looking for. Okay, they're coming back up again, so maybe they're giving us a second chance to get in. Sometimes they do that, give everybody a second chance to get in. But now we're finally getting a gap. Maybe this gap might hold. This is the first gap we're getting. So that could be it. So we did break that. So still not too late to get in, but the train really kind of left the station in here, in this area here. If we have to wait for this candle to close, and it has. Now we'll see if we can push back up into the gap. And again, this is kind of like nickel and diming. I'm just looking for precision entry more so. The reason I want to see a pullback is because if I'm going to enter, then my stop would be above here. So I want to see my stop being smaller rather than jumping in down here. So you get a bigger stop, if you do that, which can be prohibitive. So you want to see a pullback into the gap, but sometimes they don't do it. They'll just go straight down, right? And that's okay. As long as you can get the idea of what they're doing, we can always catch another one. There's always opportunities. There are always opportunities. So, All right, so still looking for them to pull back up into the gap here. So they swept these guys here as well. All the buyers are crying now.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get into Bitcoin. So Tesla.
That in a while.
Yeah, Tesla did that, pulling back. Just as we expected, we have 5 waves up, so we would expect them to come back down. S&P, one nice, beautiful 1, 2, 3 there. And we've got our first gap on S&P, so we'd like to see them pull back into this gap as well.
My 5-minute Bitcoin looks like it's in a wave 4. Nice triangle.
Okay, there's my retrace into the gap. And up. I'm too slow. Go back up one more time. Okay, so I'll sell it from there. See if I'm correct, and we continue down here. So my stop would be above, should be above this high here, but that's a long way up, so I'll put it above the middle candle instead. So that's my risk. So looking for them to drop down, take out all these lows. And where would they be heading to? This low here, maybe even that low down there. Let's go with this one. They come right into the gap and they're dropping away. Need to take out these lows now. And giving people chances to get in.
You didn't get in Bitcoin?
No, I'm in the NAS, not Bitcoin.
Oh.
Bitcoin did actually give me a nice pullback, but it did it at the same time as the NAS was giving me the pullback, so I had to choose one or the other. So it did give me a pullback into the gap. And now it's taken off. So I miss doing both at the same time. So NAS would have been Bitcoin would have been a better sell at this point because it's dropping quite rapidly in comparison to the NAS. So sometimes the choice you make, and that's why I like doing both, because if I get the same type of opportunity, you get that quick move. So they're taking out that low. So that would have been a quick profit there on Bitcoin. So they didn't come back up to the second gap. They only came to the first one after breaking that low. A very nice move there on Bitcoin. Yeah, see, NAS is playing games now. They don't even want to go down.
Yeah, it's been testing everybody's patience. That's why I chose to sit it out.
They're really giving people chances to get in. They're going to drop it, but boy, they're giving everybody a chance to get in, that's for sure.
Well, I thought we'd end up with a pretty good day today, being that it's Friday. Well, so far it's up 2%. S&P is up 1.6%, and the Dow is up 1.3%. So it's still up at this point.
Oh, and then the Bitcoin again gave me a second chance to get in. They pulled back right to the order block. They pulled right back to the order block. So that would have been a good sell from that point to come back down again if you wanted to catch that, because they're going to take this low out. So that's the ploy here. But yeah, again, I wasn't looking at it at that time, so I missed it again. But here we go. So right back to the order block. So we should continue coming down.
Also,
As is slowly getting down there. Oh my word. No way. And they come so close, they don't go through. Okay, this time they're going to go through. Okay, take a partial there and let's let the rest go here. Bring my stop down into positive, no losing on this. Keep it above the order block. All right, so we're heading down to this target here, I would think. This one is mid target.
trying to head down to, well, your numbers would be different than mine, but 163. That's back to market.
You see where 50% of this move is. 50% takes me back here.
Yeah, if you get a 50% move down, that'll be at least a nice addition to.
Yeah, they might not. I mean, they might just take this low here, and that might be it. But you know, that's about a 38% retrace. Hard to say at this point. You know, you can see the structure. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this drop. So looking for one more drop. So they might just come down one more time here, perhaps. and just take this low, and that might be it. So I have to be careful here about going too far down for my take profit. Sometimes your eyes are too big for profit and you don't get to your target.
Yeah.
It looks like that might even be it at this point here. So they've taken me out of that trade. So it was a solid trade anyways. No loss, but yeah, they might not come down that far because of our structure is complete. So if you can see the structure, you can kind of gauge that perhaps you might be done. So you can see the structure quite clearly, 1, 2, 3, and then we go up to 4, and then we drop to 5. So the height of 1 and 5 are about the same. So that could be it, right? So expecting one more drop may be a bit mute at this point to come down and take that low. But on the 5-minute time frame, when we look at it from the 5-minute standpoint, it looks like
should be going up.
It looks like they should, they could take that low out, that low right here, because there's a lot of sellers here or buyers here.
Oh, I don't have a 5-minute time. I have a 30-minute time frame. That's why I'm held up.
So you would think they would take that low, but maybe not.
My 5-minute time frame says it's trying to turn ourselves back to the upside. I got my first turnaround signal at this point.
All right, well, we've got inverted gap, a regular gap, and we've swept. So this is again setting up nicely. We sweep. We're going back up, sweeping on the highs. We need to retrace back into the gaps. That presents a nice buy opportunity.
Getting up to 200 SMA on the 1-minute chart, I would think. It's visited that area quite a few times today. And slightly less than half of the move from the bottom of the current low to the current high. Pineapple.
It's not a pineapple.
What is it?
It's a flower.
Oh, I see the bees on there, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little flower.
It looks like a pineapple.
Looks like a pineapple, but it's not.
Look at it from a distance.
Yeah, it's some kind of a blue, I don't know, it's all blue anyways, but I'm not sure what kind of flower it is.
Well, I'm not either. Let me take a picture and see if I can get a take on it. Oh, I missed it.
You want to take a picture of it?
Yeah, I'll take a picture of it, see if I can look it up for you.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, so there's our retrace back in. So buy opportunity, or do they fake us out and take out the low one more time? See, that's also possible because there is another low below us. So it could be a buy opportunity in here. Everything's lining up pretty good. The only thing we didn't have is a closure above the previous high. So not having a closure makes this a weak low. So it is possible for them to come down and take out the lows. So that's the challenge on that. Inverted. So I don't want to go in on this gap because, yeah. So they touched the inverted gap. That's really interesting how they came down and they touched the inverted gap. I was looking for them to touch that inverted gap and I didn't even notice that they did. And now they're looking to go. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could still come back one more time, but maybe not. They could take off now without us. So that was another missed opportunity to get in. I was really looking for another drop down into the inverted gap, but I didn't notice that they had touched it right there. That's all they need to do is touch it, or even come close to it, and that's sufficient for them to take off. So you have to be super nimble. All right, so you can look at it again in another way. There's another gap, although this one is a runaway gap, so it might not come back at all, but it's possible that they come back and touch this one. That will give you one last chance to get in before they really go here. But that would have been a nice entry. Worst thing is to call it and then not get into it. That's the worst. Or none. But you can't catch everything, right? So Tesla came down, swept, 1, 2, 3, gone. So that was the move. So if I put the fib on this and see how much they retrace, 50%, 50%, between 50 and 62% retrace. They come in, they sweep, they pull back into a gap. It's a buy. It's as simple as that, really. This is all I'm doing all the time. So, and I prefer to get in on the pullbacks, ideally. The stop would have been right here, because this is a gap. So let me mark that in, just show you. So since I have a gap here, I'll mark it right there. I would, whoops. So yeah, you can see they colored it in now. So since I have a gap there, I would put technically your stop should be below this candle because that's the candle that made the gap, but it's too far if you're entering here. Your risk is way too much. So you can use the middle gap instead. So your risk becomes much less. And they didn't come all the way down anyways, so that's perfect. That would have been a perfect entry on Tesla. There's even an inverted gap down here, but they didn't come all the way down there. There's a regular gap there as well, and they didn't come there. They're very close to that one, but they didn't touch it. So and there's an order block. These three candles are the order blocks, and they came into the order block. So the gap and the order block, everything. So a lot of confluence here. We got the sweep, the retrace, that's a check, and then the gaps, the order block, everything. So that's a really nice entry to catch Tesla. So we're not getting any pullbacks. You can see that NASDAQ and S&P said, nope, they're not pulling back anymore. So that was the only chance you had to get in right there. And that's the way it is. Okay, they're giving us a little bit of a pullback. So our algo kicks in half an hour into the session, into the 2 o'clock session. So they give us a pullback now into this gap. So is it viable at this point? Certainly is if you have a target that's, you know, a good distance away. So targets are the highs. So this is certainly viable. Although you're up high, you know, you could still buy that to go to the targets at the top. So it's worthwhile if you've got enough handles to make it a good profit. Right? So what's our we're at 650 there, and this is 691. So that's 40 handles. That's pretty good. 40 handles. You take 40 handles, right, George?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So yeah, you can gauge it by that. But I took a little jump into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is moving up. So on this pullback, I jumped into Bitcoin looking for them to continue up to take out the high up here, equal highs here. Let's go. So similar to NAS, the best entry would have been in here. And they give us a pullback here, so we'll take advantage of that and see if we can get up to the high. So lots of room there to make some nice profits. So it's just the same thing as the NAS. We'll look to take a little something off on this. Always good to take a partial. Half of that. And they're going up there pretty quick. Sometimes you don't even have to take a partial, but never hurts. Okay, so let's move my stop into positive now. So a no lose trade. So where are they actually going to? So I got this first high, so I could even go higher than that. I can move my target up to these equal highs here, and make some more, because that's where I've got a 1, 2, 3 bottom here essentially. So we should easily go through to these highs. So look for these highs. These are lots of equal highs there, so that's a good target. That will give me $2,500 if I get there. So once I can now move my stop. Oh, I thought I did put a stop in. Move my stop up under here, lock in a bit more profit. So NAS will be doing a similar dance now. Yeah, see, that would have been a beautiful entry on the NAS. So they're heading up to take out those highs there. So really nice movements today. Really nice movements, and you can see the pattern. You can see what they're doing. They were very tricky though, and this whole thing here could just be a fourth wave. You see it? You guys see it? So we could just go up here, and they could come back down again. So we might just be chopping around, and we don't if you're not looking at the bigger picture, a lot of people don't realize what's going on, and this is what can happen. Just like in here, they were chopping around. It looked like they were going to take off, but they came back down to take everybody out. they can do the same thing here on a bigger scale.
I left you a note in the chat, Lennox.
Okay. Virginium.
Yeah.
Sea holly. Wow. I didn't see holly.
Well, that's what I came up with. But
So there's another version. There's another picture of it from that angle.
okay, well, that has the silvery blue coloration to it.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool plant. The bees sure love it.
And sea holly, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just a nice little hobby that I have. I was a professional portrait photographer for vocation, and so in my spare time, I just wanted to get away from people and just take pictures of nature. And so this is one of the things I love doing, is just going and taking pictures of nature and so forth when I wasn't taking pictures of people.
The fun thing.
Tis. Love it. So I'm forever out and about with my camera. All right, so they came up to that. So target, let's see, where's my target?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the NAS. I'm looking at the wrong. Should be on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin took out the high already. So NAS still has more to go to get to that high. So Bitcoin has taken out the first high, the second high. So we want one more push. And actually, I could even put my target to this high, because I'm just, I could let this thing go. However, I could be inside a fourth wave, so I might be asking for trouble doing that.
Yeah,
But
that's the only problem.
here's why I'm doing that. So if I put the fibs on this move here, this 1, 2, 3, you can see where my 1.618 takes me to this level. So 200%, 200% takes me to these highs here. So that's a reasonable target for this move. So I can just stay the course for the rest of the day in Bitcoin in this trade. You don't have to exit. As long as you can stay alive without getting stopped out, this should, based on the 1, 2, 3, continue pushing up. And that would take us up to our fourth wave area and then continue. We can see we have a larger 1, 2, 3 here. So we're inside a smaller range like that, and then a bigger range like that. So Bitcoin looking very strong right now to continue pushing to the upside. If I'm incorrect, then this is just a fake, and we're inside a triangle, and they can drop it back down one more time to take everybody out down here. So that's also a possibility. So that would be, you can see the chop, that's possible. I don't want to see that happen, of course, because I'm in it. I want to see it continue going up. So, but that is definitely a possibility as well. That would put us in this huge triangle like this. They come down, take out the lows, and they could even take out this low, and then continue on that from that level. You have to always look at all the different scenarios. Good from that's Peter playing music. Peter, you must have made out well there in a trade. You
Probably did, yeah.
dancing in the hallways there. So yeah, this looks pretty good on Bitcoin, that we should continue up to those highs. I'm liking it. So if I get a chance, I would jump back in and add to my position at this point. So here's a pullback here, right back into this gap. So this affords another entry opportunity. Just put these precisely. So the same type of thing. They sweep this low. They could sweep this one as well. Let's see if they do that. If they don't sweep that low, then entry here is good to continue going. So this gives us our structure here, 1, 2, 3. So that kind of move. So they might take me out here. I'm a little tight with my stop below the gap, and my stop really should be here. I wanted to lock in more profit than, so very close. So they sweep this low again. They're staying inside the gap though.
Well, you're moving up nicely on NAS.
So that's a buy. Whoops, that's a buy right there. So I'll buy some more Bitcoin. Nice. Yeah, NAS. Yeah, again, really nice. That would have been a great entry, eh? To catch that. Even in here, that's a nice entry. But I did it on Bitcoin here instead of NAS. So that's the same move that's happening in the NAS. So does the NAS have that potential to take out that high? Yes, you can see that clearly. But we're also, again, going sideways. We're just doing a sideways dance. So we could come back down one more time to take out all these lows. That is a possibility. So I'm going to go to the 15 and look at this now. So on the 15-minute time frame, is that realistic? That, let's see. So there's the entire move now. Okay. So yesterday, you know, we looked for this. There's the sweep. There's the sweep. Drop back in, buy to come all the way up. They did that, pull back. We get another 1, 2 here. Yet another 1, 2. This kind of messed up in here a little bit. They sweep all these guys out. Then we get this big move. So this looks like a fourth wave. See? So based on our 1, 2, 3 here, this is like a fourth wave. So certainly they could take out this high, maybe, and then they could come back down and take everybody out. So you see the possibility of that now from the 15-minute time frame. So I have to be careful in Bitcoin because they could do the same thing. They would do the same thing. Does that make sense to everybody? The same, it's almost identical to what's going on here. They came up and they chop it up like that, come down, take anybody who's buying out, and then they move out again. So this is the same kind of thing. It's just a different angle. The angle is straight across this time. So they can come back down, take everybody out, and then continue up. So they might just take out the high, and they might not take out the high either. So this is the tricky part as well. We have to look at it with a fine-tooth comb. So sometimes they leave these guys alone to make them feel good about their sell, right? All these guys sold. So these guys have already been taken out. So they're no longer in the picture. So only sellers right here. So they might leave them alone and not take out the high to make them feel good, drop it down, take everybody out.
The thing I'm seeing here,
And then take them out.
I'm getting air divergence cropping up on NAS 1 minute. So I would be careful to see if this thing is going to make a turn or if it's going to continue up at this point. That's an interesting place.
Hmm. Nice little spot to sit in the summer shade. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful tree. Might have a nice picture of the tree itself. It's such a lovely tree. Okay, so they might not take that high. I have to be careful with Bitcoin.
Oh, you're in NAS right now, right?
No, I'm in Bitcoin.
This is Bitcoin?
This is NAS, but I'm in Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was talking about NAS looking like it wanted to go down.
Yeah, they might not, like I say, they might not take that high. They'll leave the sellers alone and then come back down, take everybody out. So I have to be careful with Bitcoin because they might be doing the same thing. And to my own chagrin here, thinking that I could continue pushing up straight away. But then when you look at it from the higher time frame, it's telling a different story. So you have to
Right.
always be careful about that. So I think I'm going to exit stage left on this because, yeah, so I exited my Bitcoin because of this move down, that they could do the same thing on Bitcoin, and they are. So, and I might have, I could be still wrong that Bitcoin could still go up one more time, but
Well, if you get in an area where it's doubtful and you have your profits, better to keep your profits and let them.
yeah, I exited it because they're pushing back down, but they could still go up one more time, take that high. It's looking like that's what, it looks like that's safe for them to do that one more time. So NAS could actually do that. So I maybe didn't really have to exit at that point, but I got some nice profits in any case, so it's all good. So they came all the way back down, almost back to this inverted gap here. Interesting. They're still inside this gap. So the gap did hold. So this might have been okay. I could have stayed in to the highs. So let's see what they're doing with NAS.
Oh, let's see. I mean, this might be the
So
point,
NAS, you see the NAS, they might go one more time to take the high.
and then drop it too.
Yeah. So we've got the 1, 2 here, and 3, 4, and one more time. So what's happening inside of this move here is that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this
macro.
This is 3, 4, and then we got one more push to go. So could have stayed in my position actually.
Yeah, you're 7 minutes left in the macro at this point.
Okay, coming into the last hour. So while we're into the 10-minute to 3 o'clock macro right now. So these guys are of no use anymore. Yeah, it's a bit iffy here right now because this is a sweep here. They might not go higher.
It's almost looking
you need
like
to break that low though.
shoulders.
You would have to break this low for that to be valid, and then we get that move back down. So got a 1, 2 here, 3, 4. Yeah, they look like they're going to do that. Yeah. Okay, so do we close? Can we close below?
like they're beginning to make their decision on the direction of the NAS.
So I've had 7 trades today so far, 2 losses, so not bad.
I forgot how many trades I made today. Let me open it up and see. Today I made nine trades.
Okay, so we've got a closure below the lows, so that tells us a story here. We might be heading down again. All right, so where is our gap? Got an inverted gap and a regular gap. So and there's another gap here. It's a bit low. I don't like that one because it's too low, but got to mark it anyways.
The NAS, we just went below the 300 SMA.
Yeah, so looking for a retrace here, they could just use that first gap and come back down. So will we get a retrace? So interestingly, the Bitcoin is just sideways like this, not a steep drop like the NAS. So the difference is quite pronounced. The difference here. So I'm looking for them to go back up one more time. So that would give us the retrace on the NAS.
Bitcoin looks like it's in the indecision mode.
Yeah, it's a big fourth wave there.
That's a big fourth wave, is right.
We're getting a push back up here on the NAS. So how far up can we go? So it's a tough one here because counting the waves again, 1, 2, this could be a 4, and then we could go up one more time and take out the high. So we're still, because Bitcoin is in a fourth as well, but it's a choppier fourth. So Bitcoin's looking to take that high. So I think they might be doing that. So again, you have to always reassess everything because 1, 2, 3. Inside we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a 3. And then this is a fourth wave that we're in. So they chop it up in here, and then we would go back up to take out the highs and take out the high here as well, this high. So I think that's what they're doing. So a pull back, instead of looking for a sell, even though we did have a change of character, instead of looking for a sell, I would be more inclined to think that we should be buying here if you wanted to go back up to the top. So it's an interesting one here. So let me go to the 5 minute. So you see on the 5 minute, the 5 minute is holding me to that because the 5 minutes give me this rejection wick tail, and we're looking to go back up one more time, take out this high and these guys over here. So these guys who were sitting here thinking that they were good might be in trouble now. That would give us our E leg, and then we would be coming back down again. Sorry, A, B, C, D. Yeah, the D leg finishing, and then a drop back down to take out these lows. So this might be all convoluted and everything like that, but if that's a possibility there, that we get that push back up. So that's a retrace right now on the 1 minute. So buy, very tempting buy here for NAS rather than the sell. So I won't buy it because it's not very far that we're going. I mean, we could go, yeah, I could go up there, I guess, but how many handles would that be?
Have a buy, 60, yeah.
30 handles, not bad. So again, always have to be reassessing and reanalyzing, rechecking, because they're playing games with us.
They're playing the stall game right now.
A lot of manipulation going on right now. Let's see how S&P looks. It's identical. See how Tesla looks. Tesla is really down from that after a nice move up, eh? So
Yeah.
Tesla kind of, you can see the structure with Tesla. They did it and they went through and went up, took all these guys out. So where are we going now with Tesla? Maybe the same thing, that kind of drop, taking everybody out.
There's more liquidity down below.
Lots of liquidity down here, right? So that would be, looks like the ploy that they're going to do. So they could either take the top one more time and then come down, or they just go halfway up and come down. So it looks like that's similar to what NASDAQ and Bitcoin are trying to do as well. So looking for NAS to go up to the highs. Bitcoin's struggling like crazy in that fourth wave still. So sorry to jump back and forth, but you know, this kind of a good edification because you kind of see what's going on. So Bitcoin, they came back again, took out the lows, went back into this inverted gap over here, close to the order block. There's another gap here, small one, very tiny. So they're sweeping these guys. So looking for them to go back up, take out the high. So I would buy Bitcoin at this point now. So I feel confident, more confident in Bitcoin. So I'll buy Bitcoin. Looking for them to go back up to the top. So I won't go too far for target. I'll just go up to this high. So I could make that 2,500 or something, 2,455, 2,500. Yeah, 2,500. So this is just a sweep. So you want them to come back up, take out this high, retrace, and go. So they're going to go higher than this. You can tell right away that they're going to do that. So I'm going to take the profit off. 1 second. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so take a quick profit. All right, so now I'd like to see them pull back into this gap or not. They don't have to pull back if they don't want to, but something like that. Get rid of this guy. So really, if they pull back, we could continue higher to this target. So it's quite interesting what they're doing here. It's very, very interesting, actually. So do I go for the low-hanging fruit, just take that, or do I go higher for this target? You see, so that's the. So if I get a pullback, then that target is good. But if I don't get a pullback, they might just go through just to take that high and then come back. So it looks like it's just a quick sweep they're going to do here. Take that high out and then drop it back. Didn't put a stop in, but I could bring my stop up onto here or something like that if I wanted to, just in case. So there, that was it. That's all they wanted to do, was just to quickly take that, but they could go up to that one too. So yeah, it's a tough one sometimes. I would have preferred to see them do a retrace to give me my nice 1, 2, 3, and then give me that move, right? But so they might not go up here now. They can just come back, just wick it here, and then come back down. So yeah, you can grab quick profits doing that. Just if you can see the structure and the pattern. So this is the key, the 1, 2, 3 right there. Then they get this move up. So when you're counting, this can't be 3 here. This can't be 3 because we got 1, 2. This can't be 3 because it's too short. So this whole entire move becomes our 3. So once you recognize that you're at 3, they're going to chop it up. And they do take everybody out. All these guys up here who sell, thinking that they're going back down, get taken out on the way back up. Boom. So lots of sellers in here. So they go up quickly to take them out, so you don't get a chance. So you see, they might not take that high, and then that's it. So we did close above, and so yeah, we could come back now, because that's essentially right now. That's just like a quick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move, and we're done. And now we could come back down. Let's see NAS now. Okay, so NAS doing the same thing, but you see the difference with NAS is that we did get 1, 2 like that. So that's a better entry for the NAS there, and then you get the move taking out the highs. So now we would expect that we would do this and continue one more time. So that means Bitcoin isn't done going up. So it's interesting how they play it. So this is the same pattern, 1, 2, 3. And again, this is 3 because inside we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that makes this the 3. And then we get the chop. The same chop, but they do it on an angle this way rather than doing it sideways like they did on Bitcoin. They did it like that on Bitcoin, but they can do it on different angles. And they can even do it on this angle. And take everybody out and then go. So they manipulate the area beautifully, and they make it look like, oh yeah, it's time to sell. So everybody jumps in to sell, and all the sellers get taken out. It's beautiful. It's like excellent manipulation on their part, But if you can see it beforehand, just like I'm showing you here, this is what they're doing all the time. So it's there's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our sweep. There's the move back into a gap. I could keep saying it over and over, but this is all they're doing all the time. There's an inverted gap there. So you check all those, check, 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 sweep, check, 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 check. If you get 3 check marks, you're good to go. Take that trade right up to the top. You don't get out here. You can get out there. You can take something off if you want. You don't have to get out, because you know that if you have a 1, 2, 3 like that, you should go up quite a ways. If you have a 1, 2, 3 like this, you should go up quite a ways. So you don't have to exit, but you can if you want. You can take. If you feel like you got enough profit, take it. But we should go one more time. So Bitcoin, I could have put my target higher. That would have been fine. But they went straight up without any blip. There was no 1, 2 to go. They just went straight. So there is a 1, 2, but you just can't see it on the minute chart. You can see it on the seconds chart. So this is a blow by blow, play by play, candle by candle, bar by bar. It's what they're doing all the time, guys. So am I going to be correct though? Is this, a fourth wave? You see, it's the same pattern that we just looked at on, right in here. Same pattern. They did it this way. This is the same pattern. It's just that they're doing it straight across. So we could come down again and take all these guys out, all these buyers, because that's all they're doing is seeking liquidity all the time. Right? So once they take these guys out, there's no more liquidity up here. So let's go to the 15. All right, so just like I was saying before, we've come up into this. Yeah, they can take all these guys out. It is possible. It's just a sweep. We could come all the way back down. And that would make sense for the end of the day today, right? Because people have bought and they've come up, and yeah, it would be good for them to, at the end of the day, end of the week, bring it back down, reset for next week, perhaps. Doesn't mean that they have to do that though, But so let's see the 30-minute hourly. So looks pretty good though. Looks pretty strong here. So maybe they won't come back at all. It's iffy because we're at that point now where they could come back, yes, or they could just say, hey, there's liquidity here too, so let's go get those guys rather than coming back. So they can just push right up. So there's two scenarios. We've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is a fourth wave. So yeah, we could just push through without dropping back one more time. So which one will it be, right? But that's where they're heading, up here. Whether they pull back first and then go, or they just go, they're heading up to take these guys out. So it was the exact same thing they were doing over here the other day I think it was on Monday or Tuesday when we were looking at this, and they were chopping this up. And I was saying, wow, this looks like they're faking everybody to go long here to take these guys out. So they've left them alone. See that how they did that? They left them alone all this time, all week long. They left these guys alone up here. So all these sellers, lots of liquidity sitting up here. They did not go up and take them out. Like I thought they might do that, but I thought also that they could drop it back down and take all the buyers out first. That's exactly what they did. They came all the way back down, took all the buyers out, and then they turned it around and come back up. So now they're looking to take the sellers out. So will they take these buyers out in here first and then go up, or will they just go straight up? So this is the question that we have right now. And we're coming into the final 45 minutes here, so it should be interesting to see how they play this. I hope this is making sense anyways. I'm probably talking way too much here and everything, but you have to really look at the charts that way. Otherwise, you just get lost. And you have to look at different scenarios that's possible. Like I say, it's like playing chess.
So I'm going to ask George there if he's heard Trump speaking yet.
Oh yeah, he's supposed to be at 3 o'clock, right?
What's up?
Mr. Trump, is he speaking right now? Do we know?
Oh. I got out of a trade and I've been chatting with support on TOS. Let's see if he's said anything yet.
No, I believe they're still on standby.
Okay, so we've got 5 waves up now. Are we done? Very flat here. Look how flat that is. That's very unusual to be so flat. Four wicks. That's very odd. 4 wicks straight across. You don't see that very often. So it's a likely takeout sweep before we come down. Possible. But it looks like we're done. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? And we could be coming back down. So if we're coming back down, then let me just get rid of all this stuff and we'll do this over. If we're coming back down, then first thing we want to do is to take out this low. So just mark that low. I'm going to take that low. Get rid of this guy. All right, so we have our sweep. We want to come back here, come back in, drop. If we're dropping from here, then the likelihood is that we're coming all the way down. You can see from our 1, 2, 3, if it's that big, it's going to take us all the way down. So it's really straightforward that, you know, once you can see your 1, 2, 3, you know by the size of it how far you should go. And if you can put your fibs on it, I just eye it now. I don't even have to put the fib on it. I can just eye it. But if I put my fib on it, I'm looking for my 1.618 as my target. So there's my 1.618. That's a nice target. You can go to 200% as well. That's a nice target. So I can just, by eyeing the size of the 1, 2, 3, I can know where my targets would be. And I don't have to push it. You know, I can go 1.618. Okay, I'm good. Or I can go 200%, I'm good. But you can also see the structure as it's moving up and take your profits that way. So getting a 1, 2, 3 like this would give me a similar size. That should take me back down to this level. So this is almost similar to Bitcoin now. So Bitcoin is doing the same. So Bitcoin's pattern, 1, 2, 3. You can. This one is very super clear. 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. So now we would expect 1, 2 to come back down. So when I was looking at this move here, I was looking for a retrace to go up, but they didn't give me the retrace. I thought, okay, I'll leave my target there, but I could have gone to the higher target. But it's all good. So now it's sweep of this guy, retrace back in, sell to come back down. It's a likely scenario here. We've got a gap up here. So can we go back up into that gap? There's also an inverted gap. So based on this 1, 2, 3, at this point, I could go like that and just quickly do a calculation. 1.618 takes me back to this low. That's a nice target. You know, nothing wrong with that target there at all. So that would be a sell on Bitcoin. So I'll take the sell. You know, I could get stopped out. You know, I could be wrong and they could take out the high, but I think we're going to fall here. I'm already up $1,200, so you know I can take a partial. So I like to do that. I like to take a partial quick, so that way, you know, even if they come back against me, I've got a little something in the bank. So we'll do a partial close on that at that point. And then if I get a chance to get back in again on a retrace, I can always add to my position as we go down. But this is good. So my stop loss I can just put right here, not too far. And where'd my target be? I can do my target for the lows here, or right down to the bottom, because I would expect them to come all the way down. So I'll put it down at the bottom here. But you don't have to be greedy whatsoever. You could take your profit there, no problem. But this would be like 1, 2, 3. They're gonna do dance in here and drop it one more time. So it's nothing wrong with taking the profits here. You can always get back in if they pull back. This is the flowering pea. Were you there, George?
Pardon? Oh,
This is
yeah. I'm sorry, I'm on the line with support.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No
Sorry.
problem. No problem. Try not to disturb you.
No, it's all good.
I went short Tesla.
Sorry, you went short Tesla?
I did.
All right, let's see how that looks for you here. That should be about the same as the NAS here. Get that. Here's Tesla. Yeah, so see how the 5-minute looks. So yeah, they came up, and now we're getting a 1, 2, 3 top. They did not give, interesting here. At this point here, oh, they did do it. Okay, so on the 1 minute, you can't see it on the 5-minute, but you can see it on the 1 minute. From this level here, how they swept it. So that, again, this is the pattern that we're looking for all the time. It's so beautiful. Take a picture of this, guys. This is it. This is the perfect one. They sweep, they come back into the gap. See that? So the sweep. So I get a sweep, the move up, they sweep, right? And then you get the pullback, and you get into the gap, boom, and that's your entry. Boom. You don't need to get out here because that's too short. That's another opportunity for you to get in and go up. Then they do the jig up here, they sweep, and they just touched it here, basically come back in again, and then they drop it. So here they do, again, very quickly, same kind of thing, sweep, they come back in, drop it. So they're doing it over and over and over and over and over. And it's just, yeah, if you can just see it and catch it at these on these retraces, it's beautiful. It's just, you can just make money all over the place. So ICT, like I say, is looking for a specific time, 10 minutes to the hour, the macro, the algo times and so forth. But you can catch these moves anytime. There's no specific time that you have to catch a move. You can sit there and wait for that one move for the whole day and make one trade. Sure, no problem. You can do that. But you can go in and out of these and make quick money all day long. In Asia last night, I was sitting at home here, just sitting on the couch, watching watching YouTube or whatever I was doing, and just in and out of these little moves, just making quick money in the Asia session. It's just happening over and over and over all the time. So we're coming into the last half hour So again, anyone out there on YouTube who's watching us and so forth, if this is making any sense whatsoever, I know it's a lot to take in and so forth, but there is a logic and pattern to what's going on in these charts and these markets, and if you can spot it, you can make profits. If you like what you're seeing, we're doing it bar by bar, play by play here. Do give us a like and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that very much. The sweet pea. Lovely colors. So
Okay,
that's a
I
nice
just-
move on Tesla there for you.
Yeah, I just covered.
And yeah, and you don't even have you didn't even have to exit because they're coming down. You can see the 1, 2, 3 on the 5 minute. They're coming down to take all these guys out. They're coming out to take this one out, these guys out, these guys out. You can see because of the 1, 2, 3 there on the 5 minute time frame, it gives you that frame of reference that they should be coming out to take everybody out.
Right.
So
Well,
all the buyers are in trouble. But hey, no, that's all good. You just take your profit and you're good, right? You don't have to play around and wait for bigger profits. You know, take what you can get and get out. It's all good. I like to play the whole 1, 2, 3. You know, you've seen all the trades I've made in the past, and so I like to play the whole move. So I tend to want to stay in for the entire move, but you don't have to. You can take profits anywhere along the line you want. You know, but use the previous lows in this case as guides. You know, if you put the fib on, if I put the fib on the move. This is, you know, we're using the 5 minute time frame here, so it's a little different than, I mean, it's the same on the 1 minute. You catch that same move, but so you can use that as your gauge. So there's 1.618. That's I love that target, but you can see it's just a little bit below that low, and then there's the next low, which is at 200%. So, you know, totally reachable. You can see from the structure that we should get there. Get a bounce maybe here and continue down, right? So where are they heading to? They're heading probably down into this gap down here, right? You can see from the structure that we should get down to somewhere in that area. So one down, next ones to go. But, you know, it's always good to take profits. You know, never hurts to take profits ever. So because the fact is they can retrace this entire move, you know, and, you know, if you moved your stop down, they can take you out, you know, so they can retrace that entire move before they continue. So never hurts to take profits if you get a chance. So Mr. Trump, has he spoken today? Has he spoken at
I
all?
think he's just in with the FBI and the Department of Justice. I don't think it's much of anything.
Well, the markets are moving back down here at the end, so interesting if he's going to say anything positive whatsoever to hold it up, or it's just end of story. We're looking very lean here. So you see they're pulling back a little bit, but I think overall we're going to continue falling. Those Tesla's, yeah, see they can pull back up. So you look for, on the pullbacks, on the retraces, you look for where the gaps are so that they come back to these gaps. So that might suffice. If they go through that gap, then what will be the next thing? The next thing would be this order block. There's a little tiny one here, but it's a big one here. So they could go to that order block as an example. So, I don't want to mark everything off, but they can go there into that area, and they can go as high as or above or into the midpoint. They can do things like that, but you can tell where they're going to go to based on our structure. So that's the edge we have over a lot of the people out there who don't understand the structure. So you can see once you've got a base and you get a 1-2, you can expect 5 waves. So if you can see it, you can say, okay, I see what they're doing. Maybe they'll do this and that and go back up one more time and take out this high. So you can kind of gauge possibility of where they might go based on that. Now, it doesn't mean that has to happen, because they don't have to do that. But you kind of expect it. Sometimes it doesn't happen. See, like in this case, they just hit that and they're dropping it. So you would think that, okay, why did they not do 5 waves in there? But they did do 5 waves in there. That's the thing. You just can't see it. It's on a smaller scale. So it'd be on a different level where they did 5 waves like that, rather than you're thinking that, oh, they could do it this way. But it doesn't have to work that way. So very tricky, very interesting stuff that they do to manipulate. So sell opportunity on NAS right there. If they came back into the gap, they went above it a little bit though. They did go above it quite a bit actually. So they went above the gap, so they're going into the order block, but they're not going above the high. So that's, if you were going to sell, you could sell here, and your stop would be here. So your risk is very tiny. So I love that. That's the kind of entry that's really good. So if we're correct and they go down, it's just beautiful. And if you're wrong and they take you out, then it's not such a big loss. So it's all good. There's the drop. So we're 36, so we're not too far away from macro time. So looking like I might be correct here that they would come back down to take out all these lows. Yeah, that's a total possibility here. These lows are in jeopardy. So if I mark this guy here, looking for them to take that low next. Right? This one first, of course. Then so Bitcoin is just slowly grinding down. It's taking its time. I've brought my stop down to lock in some profits, but might get stopped out on a move back up here. Might have brought it down too much. One thing I hate about moving the stop, because that happens sometimes.
So Trump's taking the stage here.
Is he now? So it's getting volatile, eh?
Yep.
All right, so it's getting a little volatile. So I'll leave my stop there just in case, because he might say something and it could spike it back up. Let's see the reaction in the NAS here, if anything. Tesla's still going down. So I came within a tick of getting stopped out on Bitcoin. Could still get stopped out. We're looking for them to take this low. Nice drop there on NAS. So almost took that low. More drop to come. Tesla's still hanging in. S&P take that low? Nope, the S&P hasn't taken that low either. Okay. We've got 10 minutes before macro time. Give me 1 minute here, gentlemen. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So what are they going to do here at the end? We have still the possibility, all the liquidity is still below. We could still come back down, take all the lows out. It still looks pretty good that they might do that before they take off and go back up, take out the highs. I'm leaning more to that scenario still, so that gives us again this huge fourth wave that we're in, and that would give us that push down sweep to sweep these two banks of liquidity here. But they're hanging around up here quite a bit. So they did take out the first one. We need them to come down a bit more. So I still can't really see a 1, 2, 3 on the 5-minute. You can see it, but it's not as clear. It looks like a good 1, 2, 3 though, and then that should take us down. Let's see it on the 1-minute, much clearer. It's quite large. So from very equal, look at those equal highs. That's really weird. So there's the move. So that's our 1, 2 there. We sweep it, get another 1, 2. We sweep it and get another 1, 2. We sweep it, get another 1, 2. So we need to sweep that one, continue down. So it could have been a nice sell on Bitcoin, on Nasdaq up here, anywhere along these entries here are good. Even down to this level, you can still sell it, but so we're looking for continued push down to take out this low. And if I put the fib on this 1, 2, 3 top, whoops, 1, 2, 3 top right here. I just messed up. 1.618 takes us down to this level. 200% is right at the low. That looks reasonable for them to come down there. So we'll find out in 4 minutes here. Of course, they can be quite mean, and they can push back up first and then drop it. Or I could be totally wrong. They've swept this low. We could just go straight up. So, you always have to look at, are you wrong, So I'm moving my stop down on Bitcoin to lock in as much profit as I can, just in case I am wrong and they come back up to take. You can see that's what I'm saying. They can push up quickly. They're very good at manipulating it. So Bitcoin, I'm way down here, looking to come all the way down to this low. But I've moved my stop down to this level just to lock in more profit, just in case. They're coming back up quick. Okay, we got 3 minutes to go. You with us, George?
Yeah, I'm back with, you're on Bitcoin now?
I'm back on the NAS here. So they see that's what I'm saying. They can come all the way back up real quick. So they're very tricky. So
Yeah.
now the question is this a real move back to the upside to take out these equal highs? So they can change this thing in a hurry. So because they've swept this low, that could be it. Even though I expect them to come down. So yeah, I see that. I moved my stop loss down on Bitcoin, and they just take me out by a tick. I'm talking a tick. So I moved it a bit too tight, and unfortunately, see that? I moved it down and it got me by a tick. It's like hilarious. They're just ruthless that way. So I thought I would be okay. It's right at the order block. Thought okay, one tick above that, I should be good, but they ticked me out. They ticked me off. That's what they did. So yeah, I have to look to get back in again if I feel I want to get back in. So we've got one minute left before macro. So I'll stick to the NASDAQ now and see. Can I pinpoint what they're going to do in the NAS? All right, so right now in the NAS, I've got a 1, 2, 3 bottom.
Yes.
So it looks like they're going to go up higher. So are they going to take that high?
The only problem is that money flow is very high right now. So I don't know what they are planning.
10 seconds to go. So it looks like they want to take this high out first.
They could take the high out first and then drop it.
And drop it. Yeah, I think that's what they're gonna do. They're very good. Okay, so we're at 10 minutes too, so you can see the movements already. So they might go back up one more time, take that high, or they might not. They might just go straight down. So the expected move is for them to go down and take out all the lows. But yeah,
that's too big of a move, and we're just started the macro.
Yeah, let's see S&P here. S&P, look at that. S&P swept. NASDAQ did not sweep, I don't believe. No. Well, just by a tad. Just by a tick or so. But the S&P was much more evident, obvious. Tesla's not. Oh, Tesla's closed now. No, it's not. 10 more minutes for Tesla before it closes. So they can come back up in here. So it's a bit volatile, bit tough. If I were going to get in, if I were going to just sell it, I would want to see them take out this high again and push for this high first. And then I would have a better feeling about them coming back down.
The way those candles are forming now, it's too difficult for me to guess what they want to do.
It's very volatile, so you have to be careful here. I don't want to give all.
It feel like they want to go down, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, I don't want to give back all my profits either. So
No, I wouldn't. You know what I say? When in doubt, sit it out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
1, 2, 3 is to bother playing with one that is too difficult.
Here's my summer cottage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish. I'm trying to picture where this place is. I don't even know where that is. So they are pushing up. So yeah, unfortunately, I got stopped at a Bitcoin because Bitcoin is dropping further. So I'm a little disappointed that I did get stopped out by a tick.
Yeah, I see what you mean on that.
But that's the way it is.
But that will not stop. The Bitcoin goes on all the weekend.
Yes.
This guy,
All right, so they sweep the high. Doesn't look like they're gonna. So they come back into the order block, and maybe that's it now. So could sell right here, but it's
okay,
a bit iffy, right?
money is dropping as they are dropping the CCI. To me, it looks like they want to end up lower, but I just don't like calling this kind of candle formation that we have because they're playing all kinds of games right now.
Yeah. Well, we certainly are in a fourth wave area. I would expect a drop, like I say, I've been saying, but yeah, they're not making it easy here. They're inducing the buyers right now. So it looks like they want to take out that high. So what if, yeah, and then they might drop it down now. Okay, so they did do it. Yeah, that's what I would expect. They would take out that high. So now they could turn it around and come back down. But they might do this in such a hurry that they don't give us a chance to get in. So let's see what they do here. I'm going to watch it on the seconds chart to see if that might help me in any way. Oh my. So, all right. So the other scenario was that they could just go.
The macro is just pushing it higher. That's all it is.
Remember that other scenario that they could push this higher, because I do have these highs over here that they could take out. So they're taking those guys out. So there's only one left now. Very interesting. So I've got these guys up here. That's the last line of defense.
We've had over a 700, almost a 700 point day today, hasn't it been?
Yeah, it looks so. That's a beautiful move. You know, my expectation is that we're going to take out those highs, but at this point where we are, it was a likely possibility that they could come back down first before they did that. So, but it's also possible that they trick you to think that they're gonna do that, and then they take off and go up. So they've taken these guys out now. So there's no one left except for up here.
I've seen this pattern before on my indicators.
Yeah. I think we've seen this pattern before.
When I said to you, it's just too darn confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I am remembering it as a problem pattern.
Yeah, so they really clean house here. Interesting, Bitcoin is still down, so Bitcoin's not making this move, so it still could come back down here.
It's still going up at this point on my 1 minute chart.
Yeah, this is a tough call. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to sell or buy at this point, so it's best not to buy.
Made another new high.
There.
Well, remember I said to you that we're going to end on a high.
Mm-hmm. You did. Yeah, this is a tough one. So, given that we swept here, we had a 1, 2, 3 here with a sweep entry. This is a nice entry. Yes. Retrace back in, get another 1, 2, 3, and then off we go. Take out these highs. Everything. Yes, that's looking good.
We're up 2.5% on this guy. So that's definitely a too high. NASDAQ is up 478 handles. S&P is up 2.12%. So whatever movement they make now is not going to make too much of a of a difference for the day, you're going to be somewhere around 2.5%.
They might bring this back down here at right at the close. So
Well, I don't think they'll bring it down more than 50 handles or something like that.
how's MicroStrategy doing today? Haven't looked at them for a while.
I haven't looked at it for a while.
MicroStrategy here. MicroStrategy. Okay, nice move here, and that's on the 1 minute. On the hourly, yeah, we're doing the same move as
Moving
Bitcoin.
up.
So yeah. So expected them to start pushing back to the upside here. So they're doing that, but it's also like Bitcoin, a very choppy
Yes.
affair. So we have to be cautious because it could still come back down one more time. So. But looking good there. So I don't know if Armin's still with us.
Yep.
Qubit's made a nice push here. So I was very fortunate this morning to be able to get in at 589. What's the low? 585. Wow. So I got in right on that wick, the tail, this morning when they opened. And I went back to bed. Just wanted to get in. But yeah, I should have bought it the 2 days prior. That would have been a better, almost a double.
Yeah, I guess they're up to 707 now.
Yes, we're at 707 on 708 right now. So that's good. A nice move. So looking for them to continue taking out 865 and higher. 12 is where my 12 some odd here would be the
There's
goal.
the bell. We dropped.
So are they going to drop it on the bell here?
Yeah. Up to
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. So
66 handles we dropped it.
Yeah, that's what I figured they would do at the bell. But it's really difficult to play this. I mean, you have to be super nimble to catch this kind of move. It was playable from here to the upside, certainly, because I was looking for that target. But
that kind of thing is hard for me to catch.
Yeah, I mean, I will sometimes do this, catch the macro at this time of day, but sometimes it's really difficult to do it.
The other thing about this, Lennox, is that the volatility is quite high. We're up about a
Very
30
high.
ATR right now.
So I expected them to pull it back, and they did. And again, nice profits here if you can catch it, but I wouldn't be expecting anyone. Maybe ICT, he's got it down pretty good. He can catch these moves pretty good. It's doable, definitely, and you have to do it off the seconds chart in order to catch these kind of moves. Because in here on the seconds chart, it's doing exactly what it did here. It's sweeping, it's going up, it's taking out, it's sweeping here, coming back in, giving you the chance to go. So it's the same thing here. It's just that it's doing it so quickly. You have to be on the seconds chart to get the entry and to catch that move.
Well, this has been a good week. I had one bad day, but I pulled it out.
Jeez. Chart.
Well, hopefully no bad days next week.
I ended up with 1,030 handles.
That's really good. That's fantastic
A
for the
week.
week. Yeah. So Tesla made quite the bounce here at the end. Interesting. So they bounced back up, and that's what I was saying, that they can do that. It looks like they're going to drop, but they can bounce it back up just to be mean. S&P, big drop. And Bitcoin, it's just dropping like a rock right now.
Okay, I'm going to stop. I've got a meeting in a half an hour. 15 minutes, I should say. So have a good weekend, everyone.
All right,
Yep.
thanks,
You
George.
too. Okay. Good night,
Have a
everybody.
Have a great weekend. Take care. You're leaving us, Armin?
Yes, I have. I gotta go.
No problem. All right. Well, take care.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon, I hope.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, Omar's with us. Omar, very quiet today.
Yes, sir. Greetings to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I joined late. But my time has changed as well. So we're not the same as New York now. So yeah, New York is 1 hour ahead. So I have to plan for that.
I see. And they're always messing all the times up all the time. So
Yeah, I might have to set my clock to.
no wonder anybody can keep track.
Yeah, to New York time. So because that's the real trading time.
Hmm. All right. Well, we have about 6 minutes left in this macro. The macro has done its thing today quite nicely. So taking out the highs, coming back down. So they only went. In fact, I have to go back up to the 30 to see this. So they only went up to take out the highs here. So they left the high alone. So we could see quite a pullback here, possibly. Retracing the entire move. You could see that before we continue again. They sometimes leave that high alone and then retrace this move. So what's 50% of this entire move from here down to this low? We're looking at back down to these lows in here. So we could easily come back into this area, even take out these lows. That's possible before we continue up again. So it's a possible scenario. And I was also saying that if I go higher on the time frames, you can see that the other possible scenario is that we are inside a fourth wave. So if we're inside a fourth wave, let me just draw that like this, then that puts us into this chop that could take us all the way back down to take out all these guys. These guys have already been taken, so only these two are left. Liquidity here, liquidity here. Up top, there's only liquidity here now because these guys have been taken. All these guys have been. So there's only liquidity sitting here, here, and here, and here, right? So once you understand where the liquidity is sitting, you have a fighting chance of knowing what the possible next move might be. So we can come all the way down to take out these lows, or we could come halfway in and then bounce and continue. I don't really want to see them come down and again down here, but again, it's a possibility. So it's quite interesting.
I lost connection just now. What's your take on Bitcoin?
Let's see Bitcoin here.
I'm looking at the 5-minute chart. I'm thinking that they might want to come down into that big gap there.
So Bitcoin, similar to the NAS, I have a 1-2 here, another one here, and then this drop. So it's looking like we're in a fourth wave this way. So they've been really chopping it up. So it is a possibility also that we could come back down, taking out all these lows.
But that time frame is
This is the 4 hour.
4 hour. Okay.
Yeah, you can see the 4 hour bars are looking a little lean there too. So that's a possible scenario. So gonna go down hourly. So we came up quite a bit. We took out the previous highs here.
The fact that they swept is significant.
Yeah, they swept it, but they also closed above it. So it is possible for us to go a little higher. So we could come and take these guys out and go up a little bit more and take this high out again, and then we could drop. So that's a possibility there. So on the 30-minute, you can see the overall structure. We've got 1, 2, and 3, 4, and up. So is this the top, or do we go one more time and then come down? Looks like that's what the ploy is here. So 15-minute time frame. We're looking at just this leg here. So you can see at this point here, yeah, we could be in the 4th wave and we could go up one more time. So on the 5-minute that you're talking about, that's where we are. So we've got this 1, 2, 3. So it looks like a 4th wave, right?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if they might just come down into that that gap right there.
Yeah.
There's
so
a big gap.
Yeah, there's a big gap here.
Right there. Yes.
Yeah. So we could certainly come down into this area before we get that move up again. So you can see it's a similar pattern to what I was showing on NASDAQ. That can happen as well. So quite interesting. So yeah, you can see they're coming down. It's unfortunate I got stopped out on that because I was hoping to hold on to that one down all the way down to the bottom here, but it took me up. Yeah, I wouldn't have been safe in either case because even I would have been taken out again.
When you say all the way down,
down to this low here.
That's the 1 minute low.
That's the 1 minute low. We're looking at well, yeah, there's a couple of lows down there, right? So either those two lows here.
But the 1 minute low isn't it lower than the 5-minute gap?
I don't think so. Let's see. No,
probably not. Might be
that's way up there still. So there's another low here at 12:30. So that low could be in jeopardy as well if they come down into the gap. So if I mark that gap, then that's definitely a possible area for them to come into.
And that is
But this low here is what I was referencing.
Oh, right there. Okay. Yes. So the gap is not too far back, but then that first yes, right there, that first touch of the gap.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that might be could be the ABC. The A would start there, and
yeah, and then you get a B, and then a C, and then this is a D leg, and then
the
E back down.
Yeah, should sweep that A.
Yeah, we should sweep these levels. Yeah,
yes.
I would think so.
Yeah, the 5-minute gap looks like an enticing place for them to come back.
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
But then there's no guarantees.
Never any guarantees. Never. But that looks pretty good. And yeah, on the 1 minute time frame, you can see that that's where they're heading right now. And so it was a nice entry and until that's why sometimes, like I say, I don't like to move my stop. I just like to keep my stop. If I get in, I keep my stop up here and don't move it because of these retraces that they can pull on you and take you out. So if you keep moving your stop down, you can get taken out, and then it's harder to get back in these areas because where do you put your stop, right? So
in midstream because you easily get stopped out at that point.
yeah.
So it's best to always catch it at the nearer to the start.
Yeah, and then keep your stop. You know, you can move your stop, say to break even or just a little bit in profit, and then leave it there but most of the time I tend to just leave my stop where it is and not move it because I'm expecting them to go to the target, and especially if I have a clean 1, 2, 3. You know, when you get a clean 1, 2, 3, something like like here, or here, you're expecting them to go to a target area, your target area. So you don't need to move your stop at all. You can keep your stop in one spot. But it's all up to you as an individual to make a decision because if you feel any way that you want to lock in profits, you can do that.
Yeah, sometimes based on the volatility, you want to tighten your stop or but this morning it happened to me where I tightened my stop and I got stopped out, and as soon as I got stopped out, the market just continued up. Same Bitcoin here.
Yep, and that's what they do because they know, they're looking and they're saying, we know where all the stops are, right? So let's just go up there and get them and then continue back, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't take them much money to push price back up here to take those stops, because if they spend 10 million to go up there and take those stops, they can make that back by the time they get down here plus. So
yeah,
you go up and spend 10 million here and you're coming out of here with 25, 30 million or 40 million, 3-4 times 3 to 1, 4 to 1 return. It's worth it to go back up and take the stops, right?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How are you?
That's the ploy.
Yeah.
It works quite nicely. So they did do almost like exactly what I was saying that they would do: go up, take out those highs, and then drop it back down again. So they're looking to come and take all these lows out now and continue down. It looks like.
That is Bitcoin.
This is the NAS.
Oh, the NAS. Okay.
So similar to what Bitcoin is doing, Bitcoin's coming down to take out the lows. NAS is doing the same thing, right?
That's
so
a
the
5.
expectation will be the same. And there's a gap here.
But on Bitcoin, on Bitcoin 5 minute, the fourth wave looks more prominent there. Would you say that?
Very much so here.
On NAS as well?
Yeah, on the NAS, the same thing, right?
Okay.
This is the NAS. I'm sorry, this is not Bitcoin. I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry. This is the NAS, yeah. So it's looking like we're coming down the same thing as on Bitcoin when we just looked at moments ago. That it's just a little different play. They've made it a little differently where this high here is lower. They went up higher on Bitcoin, on the NAS, I should say. Sorry, and then see it's almost the same thing. Their high is higher on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's almost the identical pattern though, right? So they manipulate it to make it look differently on the different instruments.
Yeah.
So that people can't catch on to what they're doing, as it were. So
yeah, that fourth wave thing though really gives you a very good indication of what's happening.
Yes. If you can pinpoint these fourth waves, boy, it's huge.
And when you get the E leg, a sweep into a gap.
So look at this. All today, we're just stuck in a fourth wave the whole time. This whole time we're in a fourth wave, and yet you can still go in there and make profits on the lower time frame. You can catch these moves. So it's doable, but it's very, very tough because it's very volatile. Very, you can see how volatile this is, but you can get some nice movements and make profits on these legs that are moving. Right, these ranges gives you opportunities for profits, but overall, we're inside this huge fourth wave. So
Yeah,
if you can discern it and know where you are in it, it's good. So I didn't notice it really until I moved up to the higher time frame.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah. Wow, we're inside a fourth wave. You know?
Yeah, when you don't know the 1 minute, you don't always see.
Yeah. So it's good to go up higher first and take a look at it, and you can see, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. They're doing this, and then they come back down. So that's what I would have expected. But then they manipulate it and make it look like they're going to just keep going straight out. So that's why it entices all the buyers, especially up here, the breakout guys, breakout traders get caught trying to go long, and then they come back real quick and take them all out.
Yeah, indeed.
This is a battleground.
It's a beautiful game. That's when you get to understand it.
All right, so we're well after the hour here, so I'm going to call it a day, Omar.
Yes, sir. It's been.
Thanks very much for hanging in. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. No problem.
And all best of luck to you here and profitable trading. And all those people out on YouTube, thanks for dropping in. It's the end of the week. We'll be back on Monday morning at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And we chose what the 1 o'clock time because the market is not as volatile as when at the open. At the open at 9:30 is super volatile. Yes, we could certainly trade it and everything like that, but it's for a learning experience. It's a better time after 1 o'clock because the market is a lot quieter and more orderly most of the time. Now, of course, there can be news at that time as well, so it can be volatile as well, but not as volatile as the 9:30 open. So that's why we chose this time. So if you like what you're seeing, again, please give us a like and also subscribe to our channel. We'd appreciate that very much. Take care, everybody. See you, Omar.
Yes, sir.
All right.
One last question.
Okay, no problem.
I'm here looking at the 30-minute Bitcoin, and I'm thinking that the possibility exists that it could retrace deeper than the 5-minute gap.
Wow, we already touched that gap.
Yeah.
So we're right into it already. So you're looking at the 30-minute. Yeah. So we're certainly deep into it there. So let's see on the 15.
There's a 30-minute gap, and we're deep into the gap.
Yeah. So yeah, we're in there. 15-minute. We're into it. We've touched the midpoint of the gap now. So let's see on the 5-minute now. Okay. So the gauge is the 1, 2, 3 at the top, right? So as yet we haven't had a retrace or any of this, right? So we can still go back up and then come down one more time. There's another little gap right here as well, so we could come lower than the big gap. So that's totally possible. So we've swept everybody out now. Everybody's gone now who were going long, but there's still room for this to drop one more time, right?
Yeah,
keep that in mind. So you always have to look at the overall structure because remember we're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. So so far we've only had this one here, or we could even say this whole one is one here, and then this move. So we would look for something like that to go down, right?
Yeah, because that is like we are in the third leg.
We're in the third wave right now, and it's very strong to the very weak to the downside. Yeah. And so we could get a bounce or gyration and a continuation, right?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. So always think about your structure. That's the most important thing.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
No problem. Take care.
Yes, sir.